Hi, I'm Jason,
And I'm Nellie Joy.
and we're High Dive Heart here at the Sutter Home Vibe and Vine Green Room.
When you drive into Napa, it's this incredible feeling of peace that you get, because when you're staring out at the beautiful landscape that Napa has to offer, it's hard not to just feel peace and to get very excited about the prospect of, going to some vineyards and tasting wines.
Oh yeah, this place is unbelievable.
Unreal.
It's one of the most surreal locations on planet Earth that I've ever seen. Honestly, I really wish sometimes that we didn't have to play the music, because sitting back and drinking the wine and listening is
Incredible.
It's an amazing thing to do.
It's a special experience when you play music in Napa. And I don't know, it's unlike anything else in the world. If I could, have a glass of wine with any musician in the world, for me would absolutely be Michael Jackson. I think he's incredible, and I would love to just pick his brain on what his journey was like.
It'd have to be Bob Dylan, just because he's a wild animal, and nobody writes like him and ever has and ever will again.
Jason and I met in 2009. We were writing songs together because our publisher Sony hooked us up. I kind of got sucked into that whole project and started writing all these really fun, beautiful love songs, and that's why the album is called The Love Sick. And the whole time I was working with him, I was thinking, man, whoever he's writing these songs about is a really lucky girl. And then about 3/4 through the album, I realized he never talked about that girl. Like, I didn't know her name. It was just some muse of some sort. And it wasn't until the album was actually done that we had a couple margaritas, and I'm pretty sure Jason spilled the truth, which is...
I tricked her into writing a record about herself. It's a strange thing to do.
Yeah.
But it worked out very well. Being married and being in a band is an adventure that is essentially impossible to describe. You kind of have to just be there the whole time.
I wouldn't suggest most people to do something like what we're doing, because honestly, the amount of time we spend together is it's like 24 hours a day. And lucky for us, we've always gotten along really well, and we've started off as like best friends, so thank God we have that foundation.
The reason I love writing music and recording it is because, for me at least, it never happens the same way. It's always unique. There's always a different form of inspiration, and it's always a different moment. We like to write out in nature,
On mountaintops,
in
beaches.
jungles, in the sand. Just the idea of a song being an expression of a moment that will never be repeated, that is unique. That's my favorite part of doing the whole thing.
We love new things, but we also love to hold on to the sentiment of old things. And Vintage is a song about having a vintage love that lasts forever. When we first started writing Vintage, it was inspired by the old Hasselblad camera sound. So you had and then there's a spray bottle into a dog bowl as the snare. We were all sitting around trying to figure out what we wanted to say, and we're like, well, these are vintage sounds, so let's write a great vintage lyric to go with it.
The first verse starts, "You're timeless like an old stack of vinyl, 100-year-old bottle of wino." So essentially the second thing that came to mind when we thought of the word vintage was wine.
Old wine.
Very appropriate, because we're sitting in Napa right now.
It's cool that we use something like wine to pair up or use that as an example, because wine gets better as it gets older, and I feel like if you're in love with the right person, it also is the same.